Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room. Today we have a combined XI and a predicted 11 for the upcoming Carabao Cup game. I'll just go through who we're with today. So, Dan, how you doing?
Hello. Let's see. Let me bring my mic here a little closer. How's it going, everybody? It's always awesome to be back here. How you doing, Charlie? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thank you. Just a long day at work, so happy to be chilling out for a bit. Owen, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. I'm looking forward to jetting off on Saturday in time for the final to the Maldives. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully I'll be in a bar somewhere when you're all at the game, be by the beach. But yeah, should be good, mate.
Matty, you going to the game? Excited?
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. Feels like forever since I've been to Wembley, to be honest. So I can't wait to be back there. I'm actually not even jealous of Owen. There's nowhere else I'd rather be on Sunday than in that ground.
I'm sure. Owen, would you just swap Maldives for Wembley?
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a hard one.
I mean, something we haven't seen here in about 3 months. So, but yeah, Matthias, how's it doing? How's it doing? How are you doing? I haven't hosted in a while, so if I can't speak, then just ignore me. But we've got a combined XI and a predicted 11 today. So we're going to start with the combined XI for the Chelsea and Liverpool side. Make sure you are getting your comments in. We're just going to go through each position, but if you have a point for a certain player, make sure you put the reason in the comments, and I'll bring it up and we'll give it a talk through. But we'll start with the most obvious goalkeeper. So it's Alisson or Mendy. Both unbelievable players. Both have won the best FIFA goalkeeper, and I think they've both won the Yashin trophy. The only two players to do that. This is probably one of the toughest positions we are going to discuss today, Matty. So who's going in your team?
Queeve, horse he is.
Oh, you know what? I forgot it was the Carabao Cup. So I'm let's do Kepa or Kelleher then. Apologies.
Still Queeve. Even if it was Mendy or Kelleher, I'd still go with him. Don't think the lad's put a foot wrong ever when he's played for us, to be honest with you. He's always given us solid performances. He's played in the Carabao Cup. It's his competition. The cup games are always his competition. So why not play him in the final? It'd be a bit unfair for him to get us all the way there and then play Alisson. It's just not fair, really. And to be honest with you, if it did go to penalties, he's better at penalties than Alisson anyway. So start with me.
That's a strong take right there. Alisson better, Kelleher better than Alisson on penalties, or just unlucky Alisson that hasn't been able to stop any shots so far.
I think Klopp did confirm that Kelleher is actually playing, and I spoke to Simon Johnson, and he's confirmed that Kepa is most likely going to be playing. So it will be between them two. Owen, Queevim or Kepa. Kepa's had a bit of a reputation in the Premier League, to say the least.
Oh, that actually surprised me that that Kepa will start. I expected Mendy to start all day long for Chelsea. But yeah, I do back Kelleher over Kepa, but I'm not sure about Kepa. Kelleher over Mendy. That's too far for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, Danny has obviously Tuchel has been playing. He has been playing not Mendy, Kepa in all of his games, but I think he dropped him for the final in the Club World Cup. So it could be, but it looks like we are going to be heading towards Kelleher. But if you want, I'll give you I'll give you a chance to fight for your fellow Spanish speaker.
I mean, one thing I would like to say is that Kepa is really good at penalties as well, just as Kelleher, who just happened to have some pretty good luck when he was able to. When was it that we see him save a few penalties? Was it in the Carabao Cup last season?
It was was it in the Europa League when he refused to go out, didn't he?
No, not him. I'm talking about Kelleher. He played.
Kelleher.
Against Shrewsbury, right? Or who was it that he saved a few penalties against?
Yeah.
Was it Arsenal?
Arsenal, yeah.
So he was really good. But again, Kepa, and this is going past his experience at Chelsea. When he was at Bilbao, he was known for being a great stopper, not just in general, but he's a really good penalty stopper. So I'm going to be completely honest. Despite Kepa having such a terrible season at at Chelsea and just pretty bad luck and whatnot. I mean, I really think experience is gonna take the foot in front in this one. So I'm gonna go, believe it or not, I'm gonna be playing devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with Kepa.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to outrule you because there's no way I'm putting Kepa ahead of Kelleher. It's just that's a war crime, probably worse than Russia at the moment. So I'm going to go for the Irish Yashin. So he's the first player in our team. Right back, Reece James could be coming back. Obviously, been out for a while with a hamstring issue. Anyone want to fight Reece James' argument over Trent Alexander-Arnold?
This would have been fun if we did it with a few Chelsea fans, because I can guarantee they would have been all over saying that Reece James is better than Trent. But we all know, as logical people, that Trent is way better than Reece.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we'll throw Trent in the team as well. Centre backs, this one's a bit more open. Obviously, both teams have got very solid centre backs. Matty, I'll throw it to you first. What are your two?
Van Dijk and Matip and/or Konate.
And/or Konate. No Thiago. Yeah, no Thiago Silva.
Nah, he's old, washed.
Anyone fancying Thiago Silva in this, or?
Yeah, he gets in my team.
Come on, Matty. Please don't do this to us.
No, Matip.
No,
Centre half in Wales football. He is. What's Matip ever done wrong? His performances this season, he is up there with the best centre halves in the world. He's fantastic.
That is true. I do agree that, but I mean, we have to see it from the outside perspective. I'm pretty sure Chelsea fans are going to say the same thing about Thiago Silva. They're going to be like, "Oh, he hasn't done anything wrong, this and that." So we kind of need to put it like in a balance and say who is more experienced, who is well. Clearly, they've been comparing him to Van Dijk for a reason. And just to balance things out a little bit, I mean, I think Silva should be taking one spot at least.
Maybe even Rudiger. Good shout.
I think Rudiger's just so... I don't rate him as highly as everyone else is. The way like Bayern Munich and Real Madrid are trying to sign him, like for what he's asking for. Like I think he's asking for over 150 grand. Like the guy's just so I think he's got so many mistakes in him. I can't put him over the likes of Matip and Konate. No way at all. I'd personally go Van Dijk and Thiago Silva. I think them two are going my side. Matty disagreeing with me there. Matty, come on. Look, as much as Matip's been amazing this season, Thiago Silva's about 37 and he's been putting in unbelievable performances.
Matip was injury prone and hasn't missed a game all season, and Liverpool are 10 points clear of Chelsea.
Yeah, obviously, but their issues are more goal scoring. They're not scoring goals. They've always been solidly defensively. I mean, I think their top goal scorer is a defender, or like a lot of them are. So,
nah, still Matip for me. Matip scores goals as well. Does down phenomenal runs. He's just he's about a Matip. He's unbelievable, and I think he's so underappreciated for just how good he is. I mean, Konate is a unit as well, but I think if we were starting a Champions League final on Sunday, I think it'd be Matip and Van Dijk. That's how highly Klopp rates him. So I just think he is well.
Kind of supporting Matty on this topic too. I was saying I think it was yesterday on the stream that Joel Matip has been was arguably the best defender in our team until Van Dijk got his mojo back. So that's actually a pretty good point also from Matty. But I mean, I want to say just Matip and Van Dijk, but I'm trying to stay a little less biased than usual. So I'm just gonna say Silva on this one too.
Owen, your thoughts on the centre backs?
I think if I'm going to give my honest opinion, I'm a little bit wary about Matip playing on Sunday because I've noticed a little theme with Matip over the last few weeks and over the kind of the last few months in general, to be fair, that he can't play 2-3 games on the bounce. He can't because he gets kind of very sloppy on the ball, gives the ball away, bad touch, and it's a common theme. I've noticed it time and time again. He needs kind of a rest, whether it's a 3-4 day rest, and then a game, and he's unbelievable then. But that is my fear with Matip, is he going to have one of those games where he comes in and he isn't 100%. That's my fear. And Canasta, I think from what we've seen of him, he's been unbelievable. But yeah, it's a debate of he hasn't had enough games, has he really, to be putting him over the likes of Thiago Silva or Matip.
So are you going Thiago Silva and Van Dijk as your centre backs then?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't answer the question there, did I? Yeah, Thiago Silva and Van Dijk for me.
Dan as well, yeah.
Matty's fuming, Matty, right now.
Matip's a top 5 centre back in the world according to Matty, so it'd be hard if you're putting Thiago Silva.
Top two, not top 5. Put some respect on his name.
Okay, Matty.
I love his dedication.
I appreciate your I don't want to call it delusion, but I call it loyalty. Okay, left back. Not really any options apart from Andy Robertson. Marcus Alonso is terrible, and Ben Chilwell's broken his ankle or something. He's out for the rest of the season, so I think we'll just skip over that and stick Andy Robertson in there. Midfield 3, Owen. Give me a midfield 3 and why.
Okay. So holding midfielder, there's no debate there. It's Fabinho all day long. I'm sorry, if you disagree with that, you're deluded. And
Wait, Charlie, what's the lineup? What's the lineup so Owen can be able to choose based on the lineup?
Well, anyone, any Chelsea midfielder, Kovacic.
4-3-3.
Oh, 4-3-3. Yeah, 4-3-3. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
And then on the right hand side or on the other kind of midfield position, you've got Kovacic and you've got Thiago. That's what I think.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point that Mateus has brought up. Tsimikas. Are we putting Tsimikas in there ahead of Robbo or?
No chances. It's a final. It's a final. Robertson's. Well, Jurgen Klopp will always start Andy Robertson. Always.
Look at this. Look at that.
Freaking does. The podcast boys are coming to back him up. Okay, so we'll start. I don't think just to go on the Tsimikas, would anyone be mad if Tsimikas started? He hasn't put a foot wrong this season, has he? To be fair, and he's been unbelievable.
I wouldn't be mad. I just think that it will be Robbo, but I wouldn't be bothered. Tsimikas is, although against Norwich, he did seem to cut back a lot when he was down the wing instead of just pinging the crosses in like he usually does. So I don't know if he was carrying a knock or anything, but he didn't seem to be pinging them in as much as usual. So.
Yeah, we'll just stay with Robertson just for the fact that Trent and Robbo. So and they both got rested on against who was it? Norwich. So yeah. Okay, so midfield 3. Owen, yours was Fabinho, Kovacic, Thiago.
Yeah.
Matty, any changes on that?
Yeah, I think there's a good few of our midfielders better than Kovacic. He's a decent player, but I do think that. I'd probably start Hendo over Kovacic purely based on his performance against a really poor Leeds side. But I'd also probably put Harvey Elliott in over Kovacic. And just for I think Harvey Elliott's well better than him. I think.
Why not chuck Ox in?
Nah, I don't want the Ox near the team. But I do think Elliott and Hendo definitely over Kovacic. And Fabinho and Thiago for me are the 2 best midfielders in the Prem. So they're nailed on starters. But I do like Kovacic, but I don't think I'd play him over Elliott or Hendo.
So who you putting in there, Elliott or Hendo?
Elliott.
So is your combined XI going to be a Liverpool team?
I was going to tell you that. Matty just goes for.
Honest to God, right? I do not rate anyone really in that Chelsea side. Maybe Kai Havertz, but I couldn't include him in the midfield because he's been playing up front. So.
Yeah, maybe. Dan, your midfield 3?
So I have huge respect for N'Golo Kante, and I personally think that he's way better than Kovacic, Jorginho, or anybody else in that team. There's nothing that anybody can say that to change my mind. I think that N'Golo Kante is just world class. So I don't know if he's going to play on Sunday. Is he? I don't know if there's any injuries.
Yeah, he's fine. It was just an impact injury, according to sources.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Obviously, he doesn't play as a 6, but in my mind, I will play Fabinho in the middle, and N'Golo Kante has to be there. No mention of Jorginho. And on the left side and the lead midfield spot, there's nobody else than Thiago Alcantara. Who else? Come on.
I think I'm the tie-breaking vote here. So my midfield, I'm going to obviously put Fabinho in DM just because he has to. Thiago on the left because again he has to. And then I'm gonna go with Dann. I'm gonna go N'Golo Kante. I think it'd be criminal to leave him out. I do like Kovacic, and I was debating with Mount as well because I like Mount. I might be the only one who rates him, but I do think he's a baller. But I can't put either of them above Kovacic. So
however, Kante plays Holden for Chelsea, so that you'd be comparing him to Fabinho if you're going in that system.
Does he though? Because Jorginho plays that role, doesn't he?
Yeah, they just play deep anyway. They always throw all the players.
Yeah, exactly. But Kante's always that one who's sort of just running up and down the pitch like a headless chicken. So he can be.
I mean, he's not a defensive midfielder, but he's so good at what he does that people think he's a defensive midfielder. That's just how good he is that people start comparing him to CDMs. So, I mean, he's just world class. I think I cannot not put him in there.
And every single time as well he plays against us, he drops an absolute masterclass. So I'm hoping that they don't play him in Sunday, but you never know. So yeah, I think the midfield three, Dan, is Fabinho, Thiago, Kante. And now for the front three. I mean, I think we're all in agreement here, but I'll go around everybody. Owen, your front three.
Right wing, it's got to be Salah. I think he's the best player in the world, in my opinion. So you can't leave him out. We just can't. Left wing, Mane. I think you've got to put Mane in. Even though people say he's not as good as he used to be, he's still one of the best players in the league. I don't know where he is in the goal scoring charts, but I know he's up there. I think he's
second. Oh, no, sorry, he's third.
Was it joint third?
Joint third with Sterling.
Joint third, yeah, there you go. So he's still an unbelievable player. Still one of the best attackers in the league. And then up front, you have to give it to Jota, in my opinion. He's second, got top goal scorer. He's had an absolutely massive impact on this Liverpool team. Although there are doubts if he's going to be fit to play for the final. But hopefully he'll be on the bench and hopefully he'll come on. If we have extra time, come on then. Or just before, hopefully.
Matty, does your boy Kai Havertz get in to the front three?
Yeah, I think I'd go Mane, Salah, and Havertz. It's a tough one, really, because I'd like to put Diaz in there. I don't think we've seen enough of him, but what we have seen of him, I think he's world class. He presses everything, seems to win everything. He's exciting, he's skillful, he's unbelievable, really. But I think just based on current form and the longevity of it, I'd say Kai Havertz, just purely out of the fact we haven't seen enough of Diaz yet, and I don't think José will be fit. I think José will come in off the bench.
Yeah, I think what Mateo said, I think he's going to be available on the bench if needed for maybe the last 20 minutes or so, which, I mean, how many times have we seen Jota come on and, when he was first playing and bag a goal? That's the reason why he's starting in the first team now, so that's good. And obviously, as Matty said, Luis Diaz has been unbelievable. You putting Luis Diaz in, Dan, or you haven't seen enough of him yet?
Again, this is another case. If you ask me personally, I will be like Matty and just say Mane, Salah, and Jota. But I need to balance things out a little bit. And that being said, Diaz cannot get in my front three. What I would do, though, is a Salah, Jota, like Owen was saying. There's just no way you cannot put Jota in. He's the second top goal scorer in the whole league next to Salah. My only issue would be on the left side, and just to balance things out, just like I was saying also yesterday, I need to put in a Chelsea player. Now I don't know which option is better. Timo Werner hasn't been as bad this season, but I'm not going to consider him. I think Havertz is going to be really the only option. You got to give it up to Lukaku as well. We know he's a world-class player. He's just not going through a good moment in time right now. But if we go based on form, I would have said Mane, but just to balance things out, I'm going to go ahead and throw in Havertz in.
You can't put Lukaku in. He isn't just going through a bad run of form. He's just not the player that Chelsea bought.
He's just terrible in the Premier League. He always has been, always will be. He's
Remember
just,
the Everton Lukaku though? At Everton, he was amazing.
Yeah, how many years ago was that? I was going to games then. It's about 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long, long time ago.
I mean,
Guy
how
would
many?
drink water was good back then in Leicester too.
Yeah, I mean, can we make a case for Mason Mount?
no.
Not at all.
Our front three is far more superior. You said before, Chelsea can't score goals, so I don't understand why any Chelsea players will be mentioned in the attack. Liverpool have scored over 100 goals so far this season. We're only in the end of February, so got the by far superior attack in all aspects. Liverpool's front three, well now front five, front six if you throw Origi in there, because he was fantastic when he came on against Norwich as well. So I don't think any Chelsea players get close to a front three in a combined 11 because Liverpool is just far more superior.
Is Mount playing more as a midfielder than as a winger, or he's just playing everywhere right now?
I think he's being Coutinho. Sorry if you heard racket then. My dog was trying to get in the bin. But
yeah,
I want to put Mount in the squad so bad.
But even though Mount doesn't get in ahead of
true
Liverpool players, because to be fair, Mount's a decent player, but he's nowhere by far superior to getting into any of Liverpool's. I don't think there's one Chelsea player who walks into this Liverpool side in any position, and I mean that.
Mm.
I think in term, I don't know. I want to look at it subjectively and not like.
That's also what I'm trying to do the same too, but I'm here. Like,
think of the Liverpool 11. Whereabouts would a Chelsea player genuinely fit into that team?
No,
because
Matty does have a point.
Well, okay. I don't think the question. The question is obviously what you're asking is: would you take any Chelsea player in the first 11? No, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't take any Chelsea player at all. You know, as much as I love N'Golo Kante, I don't think he's better on his day. You know, than I'd prefer Harvey Elliott, for instance. Just be purely on a passion level and how much I want Harvey Elliott to succeed. And you know, the front three again. It's if you'd had Firmino in there, I'd probably take a fair few of the Chelsea from like forwards, but he's not. So
if we decide to put Mount in, we have to put Harvey Elliott in. So because it's basically the same thing per team. So Chelsea fans see Mason Mount as the next big thing and whatnot, and he's great, right? And obviously we see Harvey Elliott, same thing, starter, great thing, adds something different. But if we're being realistic, we're not going to just shift Mason Mount just to add him to the combined 11. So I don't think he should be in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with my front three for the game. I'm choosing all Liverpool purely for the fact that look at the top goal scorers in the Premier League. You know, look at the Champions League goal scorers too. We're at the top of all of them, pretty much or near the top. So I'm going to go Mane, Jota, Salah, and I don't think it's a debate really. So I think that's the final team is Kelleher, Trent, Van Dijk, Thiago Silva, Robertson, Fabinho, N'Golo Kante, who else? Thiago, Salah, Jota, and Mane. I'm still not happy about that Thiago Silva, Matty.
No, Joe Matip's been robbed. Joe Matip is world class. Robbed he has. He'll prove you all wrong when he gets an assist on Sunday.
I would ask you guys, would you guys choose Diaz over Mane or not even debatable? No?
Don't think we've seen enough of Diaz yet. I think he's very, very, very exciting. I think he is the future, but I don't think we've seen enough of him yet. And Mane gets a lot of disrespect, but he's world class. He just surpassed Drogba, and so did Salah. And Mane's just won the AFCON. Like, we're witnessing two of the greatest African players to ever play in the English game, so I think we should just appreciate it, really.
Yeah, as much as I think Mane's overall game has changed a lot, from when he was taking on players 1v1 and being that direct forward attacker that we see. I think his game's changed now to more of a not as flashy, more of just like I'm just going to run towards the box and hope that the ball lands at my feet.
Don't get me wrong, his first touch, especially last night, was atrocious, but we've seen last night, he still come out the game with 2 goals.
Yeah, he
Don't get me
still
wrong,
offers something.
he can have 85 minutes of terrible and then still come up with that one moment of madness that you need. And he's been scoring recently, so I reckon you play him while he's in form, to be honest.
Yeah, defo. And, you know, I don't think any of us are going to choose the Chelsea one, but manager for this game, Jurgen Klopp, Owen.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think try not to be too biased. Not make kind of a full out and out Liverpool team. We don't want to be like talk sport or anything, but it's hard to look other than Klopp here. It really is, because although people argue Tuchel was kind of equalise what Klopp's already done, you've got to look at it and think how much money Klopp spent compared to Tuchel and the team he inherited. Tuchel inherited an absolute team with world-class players, where Klopp is, if you see the team he played against Tottenham, it's not a good team at all. No depth there, and it took years to build, and he did it the proper way, where Tuchel just came in, had the money there, and so I think Klopp is a superior manager in my opinion.
Matty, I'll give you a chance to shit on Tuchel if you want.
Nah, to be fair, I hate the fact that he's at Chelsea, because prior to him going, I rarely despise Chelsea, but prior to him going there, I rarely rated Thomas Tuchel as a manager. I think he's a fantastic manager. He shares the same ethos as Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp is the by far superior manager, and Thomas Tuchel has learned a lot of his trade under Jurgen throughout his managerial career. He seems to have followed the same path as Jurgen, so he's followed teams in that philosophy. I was devastated that he went to Chelsea, but obviously the manager for me had been Jurgen Klopp. He's the best thing that's ever happened to Liverpool in my lifetime. So, yeah, he'll always get him for me.
Just 2 Chelsea players then getting in the combined 11. We all agree that?
Yeah. I don't even agree he should be there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe we should have had a Chelsea fan on, but it was a bit short notice. So, you know, if we have a final with someone else, we'll get their fans on. But I think I tried to look at it as subjectively as possible. I tried to play, as Kris would say, devil's avocado. So, but I genuinely think that only really 2 players get in, like as a non-biased Liverpool fan. But we'll move on to the final subject of the stream. The predicted 11. What team Liverpool are going to pick? Do you want to do it player by player again, or we'll just go around and give teams?
Each one to give their whole team, I guess. That way it's a little faster.
Yeah, Owen?
All right. I'll go with Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Salah, Mane. And it depends. If Jota's fit to start, which I don't think he will be, then I would start him. But I don't think he will be, as I say. So I'm going to start Diaz.
Matty?
As much as I'd like to see that, Alisson won't start, because Klopp's already confirmed that. I think it'll be that same team, though, to be honest with you. I do think that Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho will be the midfield of choice. My heart really wants to see Fabinho, Thiago and Elliott. I think that offers just a little bit more for Liverpool, a little bit more creativity. And that Elliott, Salah and Trent link-up's been fantastic when used. So I would choose that as that. I would go with that. But I do think he'll start Endo, and I think it'll be Queeve in goal. And I've got no issues with that. He's been fantastic for us when called upon. So, yeah, Queeve in goal.
Dan?
I'm going to try for a lineup with a few more changes in the starting 11. But before that, who played the last game as a left back? Was it Robertson?
Robertson played against Leeds, and Simmons played against Norwich.
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking my starting line is going to be Kelleher. Tsimikas on the left side is going to be Konate with Virgil van Dijk. And I'm actually thinking that Joe Gomez might make an appearance, but the right back is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. Midfield 3, I'm actually going to stick in Harvey Elliott in there, Fabinho and Henderson, just like most of you guys have said. And a front 3 of Jota. If he plays, no, actually, let's take him out. Let's say he doesn't play. I'm going to say Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, and Firmino.
Firmino's injured. He's not. He's been.
Oh, he's also
confirmed.
injured, huh?
Yeah, he's been
I'm not gonna-
confirmed out too.
I'm not gonna go with any injuries then. Okay, I'm gonna say then Mane, Salah, and who else we got? Origi. That's what I'm gonna go with. Origi.
Okay, I've got a few changed lineups as well. I think the fact that he's sticking with Kelleher, I think he's gonna go with a lot of what he was playing. So I'm gonna go Kelleher in goal, Trent right back, Canate and Van Dijk. Simicast. What?
I think Massive will start now.
Nah, I don't. I think Canate's been playing all the cup games. So
Yeah, we gotta consider this is a cup game.
And
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see more kids.
We've got to remember as well, yeah, even though this is a cup game, we have to utilise our squad because we're going to play in a Champions League knockout again and on Wednesday or Tuesday against Inter Milan. That isn't over,
2 weeks after, I'm sure.
So well, we've got another Premier League game coming up, and we're still going for the Premier League. So we've still got a rampack season. So yeah, I'm gonna go Canate, Van Dijk, Simicast at left back with Fabinho, Thiago, and Naby Keita, with Mo Salah, Takumi Minamino, and Sadio Mane.
You just said Takumi Minamino, Charlie. What is going on here?
The EFL Messi, the Carabao Cup Messi.
I honestly think Jurgen's going to go for this. I really do. I've just had a little look then. It's Norwich. I forgot about that because I'm away in Krakow. It's Norwich I think I'm in Krakow. We'll see. It's Norwich in the FA Cup on the Wednesday. So that's where we probably would play a few of our kids. Norwich at home Wednesday night. So I do think that we probably go strong against Chelsea and weaker against Norwich, and then that gives the first 11 a rest until we play West Ham at home on the Saturday.
Yeah, true, very true. Didn't think about that, but still, I'm gonna go with my team because I think Minamino's been unbelievable this this tournament, and I think Simicast as well. Why not give him a go? Like I think he's been more than good enough.
Club also rested Minamino and against Norwich, right? I mean, against Leeds.
I don't think he rested him. I think he dropped him.
If you go on the basis that Kelleher's starting because he starts the cup games, then yeah, you probably will see the likes of Minamino and you probably will see the likes of Costas because they start the cup games too. I wouldn't really be that bothered, to be honest with you. As long as you've got Van Dijk and Trent, I think at the back, I think that's what you need to keep us steady. I think you need Fabinho and Thiago in midfield, and I think you need Salah and Mane up top, and then anyone else can slot in the other positions, really. And I'm still confident we'd win it.
We could even see the likes of Connor Bradley, Tyler Morden.
I don't think not a chance. I think with how many players we've got available, we don't need to be dipping into the youth team. The only players who are injured going into that game are Roberto Firmino. Everyone else is fit. So there's no need to be dipping into the likes of Tyler Morton or, Matty's not going to like this, but even Curtis Jones. I think we've got too many players, first team players who can play in this game. So I think Fabinho and Thiago are nailed on. Thiago come off at like 60 minutes, didn't he, against Leeds? And again, I think Henderson come off in like 80 or something.
He came on in the 70th odd minute, I think it was. He started on the bench, so he came on. So he only had half an hour or so run out. He was decent when he came on, to be honest, as well.
He's just so good, man.
He's obviously going to start because he's the captain of the club, so he's obviously going to start. But I would like to see Elliot in there, to be honest.
There's another question I wanted to ask you guys. So if you guys have to choose someone right now based on form, who would you choose, Elliot or Curtis Jones? If you had to choose one of them for the next game.
Elliot.
This is going to do me head in purely because if Harvey Elliott dropped that performance that Curtis Jones dropped against Leeds yesterday, everyone would be gassing about him. But because it was Curtis Jones, no one is.
I agree.
He was phenomenal last night. He was absolutely phenomenal. His pressing, his movements. He was a little bit slow on a few decisions, but his overall gameplay for the whole time he was on that pitch, he was phenomenal. And if Elliot dropped that performance, everyone would be gassing about him.
Okay,
Elliot is going to be generational. However, Jones has still got a lot to offer to this team, and he's a very good depth option.
I think the only reason why nobody rates Curtis Jones is because he came from the academy. If we bought Curtis Jones from the outside, everybody would go crazy, just like Elliott.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Elliott was so hyped because he was so young. He's playing Premier League football by the time he was 15.
He's going to be generational. He is going to be
Yeah.
generational. Harvey Elliott.
Like
it's very good.
Harvey Elliott, just you watch him and you're just like, every time he's on the ball, you're just like, he's going to be something. This kid's special. Whereas you look at Curtis Jones and you're like, he's a class player, but I don't look at Curtis Jones and I'm not watching him all the time. Whereas when Elliott's on the ball, I'm always 100% focused on him. As much as I love Curtis Jones, I do think he's going to be a great player for Liverpool. But I can't see him becoming the star that Elliott will be. I think Elliott in a few years is going to be up for like Ballon d'Ors, player of the years.
Elliott is more aesthetically, like visually more pleasing to watch because he's a forward. Obviously, who's playing in midfield. Curtis Jones is a midfielder who's playing in midfield. So I think that's also a good case.
As well. So to be fair, because Curtis Jones thrives more in the left centre position, where Harvey Elliott's more of a right winger, right centre mid. So they play opposite sides, really.
I mean,
I think we got to remember as well. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Owen. Go ahead, my friend.
You got to remember that Curtis Jones is 21 and Harvey Elliott's 18 years old. It's quite more along his development than Harvey Elliott is. Harvey Elliott's still making out sort of his career. He's only starting out, really, where most academy players at that age aren't even near getting into the first team. I think the only exception I can think of is Trent, who really got into the Liverpool team at that age where he was starting week in, week out. So I think, he's a generational talent and we need to play him more to develop him.
Harvey Elliott's up there with the likes of like your Vinny Juniors and stuff like that, ones who come through and make an impact on the world scene at such a young age. So Klopp's doing the right thing with Elliott, in my opinion. He wasn't even in the matchday squad yesterday. I think his minutes need to be managed. You don't let the ego get to his head, and you manage him, and he is going to be world class every time he's came on for us or started for us. He has been the difference, really. The Chelsea game at the start of the season, Harvey Elliott was arguably our best player.
You guys don't think that the same thing could be said about Curtis Jones? He's only 21. He's not that old.
Curtis Jones,
generational.
Yeah, he is an academy graduate, really. So he's getting minutes as and when he can and slotting in as and when he can. And that's what he should be doing. The reason he's played so much in recent years is because of injuries. Like, he was never meant to play that much, really, when in the grand scheme of things. And when he has played, I think he's been fantastic. I think when he's had a run of games the past few weeks, he hasn't been that good, but he isn't meant to be starting in this side. He's still a kid.
Yeah, I think Elliott all day. I think, just to say what Owen said as well, Harvey Elliott's 18, Curtis Jones is 23. Harvey Elliott was in this team, training with the first team when he was 16 years old, regularly. Look how much Klopp rates him. He nearly cried when he did his ankle, and he said it's one of the hardest times he's ever had as a manager. So obviously it's not ancient, Matthias, but in the terms of like this debate, I think age sort of does come into it a bit.
21.
Yeah. So it's I think definitely Harvey Elliott for me, but
I think we should keep this one for like another debate. I'm totally in the Curtis Jones train. I just don't think that he had the luck, just like Charlie was saying. Or Matty, he wasn't supposed to be starting, but he started. He just is getting the game time that he wasn't expecting. His development just has been slower. I do think he's just at the same level as Harvey Elliott, and I think we can obviously compare it in a different debate. But I am totally balls in for this guy. So it sounded weird, but yes.
I think Curtis Jones could really do with a loan as well. I think that would really help his development. You've seen it with Harvey Elliott going out to Blackburn. He's really thrived playing week in, week out football against I think Championship's a really underrated league and it's really physically demanding. And kind of Curtis Jones, he hasn't really experienced that yet. And I think that would be really good for him to get out there and do that. It's just whether Klopp could kind of afford to do that with the midfield we've got. And I think we probably would need to sign another midfielder to do that. So that's kind of the problem there.
I think he'd do well in Aston Villa. He done some of the best years of his youth career was under Steven Gerrard in the academy. Steven Gerrard remember when he scored that goal in the derby, he had it all over his Instagram with a kid and stuff. It's someone he's looked up to. He's took the number 17, let's not forget. So I think if he was going out on loan and Aston Villa side working under Stevie for a year, maybe could do him well. But next year he's 22, he's kicking on into the first team. In my opinion, Henderson's minutes are going to probably drop next season as he's getting a bit older. Milner's older if he does stay. Thiago's not getting any younger, so I think these players are going to start playing more minutes next season anyway.
One thing I would say is, can you guys imagine already Elliott and Jones in the same midfield with Fabinho is going to be incredible in 5 years' time or so.
I think with Elliott, yeah, but I think if Curtis Jones is still at the same level, no. I think Curtis Jones really needs to kick up a few levels to even be in that conversation of starting. Unfortunately, I think, against the lower teams, like in Norwich's or, people like that, below 10th, all day starting with experience around them. But I don't think you can be putting Elliott and Jones in the first team unless Jones is really, really kicked on, which, as much as I love him, I just can't see him ever getting to that level, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Damn. Charlie and Owen calling 21-year-old Curtis Jones old. This is just crazy.
I haven't used the word old.
Making things up there.
Yeah, I mean, as well, look, it's a good one that, Jude, I know he's talking about a comment that's going on in the chat, but Jude Bellingham, if Jude Bellingham comes in, he goes into that role with where Curtis Jones is gunning for. So, we've then got Jude Bellingham and Harvey Elliott. I think they're definitely more of a likely pair to be our future centre midfielders, starting ones anyway.
You guys really think Jude Bellingham's still coming? Every single stream, everybody's just like, Bellingham. I think with the fact that we have Jones and Elliott now, that already closed the door on Jude Bellingham for at least 5 years. I don't think there's any way we're going to be looking for him unless one of the two leaves. And obviously, Elliott is not leaving. Curtis Jones, I doubt he's leaving. He's 21.
No, I think if he came in, he starts in our midfield now. Jude Bellingham, he's phenomenal. But it's whether Dortmund let him go next year. It depends, really. Like we're seeing with the Haaland stuff, they are desperate to give him that new deal to get more money out of him. So they are going to try and cut the losses on someone like Jude Bellingham, and they're going to want mad money for him. So it's whether FSG go and pay. Then when you're talking easily, probably close to £100 million to get Jude Bellingham, I'd love him though. But it's whether Liverpool would ever pay that money, and unfortunately, I don't think we would.
We're forgetting a man as well, Carvalho. We were all hyping him up in January, and now he's going to come in hopefully in the summer. Jude Bellingham, do we need him? I think my main problem with the deal is you bring him in as an 18-year-old, you give him a lot of money already. 5 years' time, he's going to want to boost on that, and we could be looking to offer. Well, he could be wanting 350 odd K, the sort of money Salah wants. So I think it's ridiculous in my opinion. And I don't think it would ever happen under FSG.
Ooh, Jude or Carvalho?
Jude. Yeah.
Nah, I don't think he'd want straight away 350 grand.
No, when he turns 23.
Well, the thing is, yeah, if he's 23 and he's bossing the midfield, I'm not asked me. If he's the best midfielder in the world in 5 years, and he wants to tie he wants to have a 14-year Liverpool career, I'm not bothered giving 350 grand a week if he's the best midfielder in the world. If he's not, then he won't demand that. We can't see into the future, unfortunately. It'd be nice if we could, but that's a lot of ifs for that to happen. First, he has to sign, then he has to be good for 5 years.
Like Jude Bellingham is more of a fans transfer, right? Because if you look at our midfield, do we need a player like him right now?
I think Bellingham comes in more when Stevie's probably a manager. I think it's a good few more years. I do think I've always been in the same camp as you, Charlie, that I do believe Bellingham will play for Liverpool one day. But I do think it'll probably be when he's maybe 22, 23 rather than the next few years. I think he's got another move in him. Where that's to, I don't know. But maybe Bayern Munich or something, or maybe goes to Spain for a bit. I don't know. I think he will go, but I think there's another club before Liverpool.
Hopefully, it's not Man United.
Wow, he's a Liverpool fan, though, isn't he?
Yeah, well, his whole family are. He's never officially confirmed it, but everyone in his family is. His younger brother is, his dad is, and I think his mum is as well. So and all of the cousins.
I could not go to United if I was a Liverpool fan. No amount of money in the world would get me there. So I think he's probably the same.
Yeah, but you're a match goer, Matty. You know, you've spent thousands upon thousands on Liverpool. You know,
Millions.
Jude might just be a Jude might just be your average sit at home, watch the game with his dad, Liverpool fan. Might not be as invested as us.
He's called Jude, in my opinion, after June, to be honest. I think there's more to it, but I would love him. If we can get Jude Bellingham, my days, that'd be what a signing that'd be. But just the money Dortmund are going to want, FSG aren't going to pay that. But then saying that, he fits their model because he's so young. So if Bellingham comes and becomes, say, 75% of the player as Stevie G was or something like that, you could then sell Bellingham for probably double the money you bought him for if you wanted to, which is what FSG look for. So
yeah, I think as well the Luis Diaz was a good indicator of we have our targets. If we want them, we will get them. You know, if Jude Bellingham is a genuine target, and we saw it. FSG were willing to wait until summer to get Luis Diaz because they didn't want to pay as much as they were. You know, but someone forced a hand and they had to get it. As Matty said, maybe they do wait, a few years to maybe try and get that price lower. But I do think if someone does come in, especially someone from the Premier League, if someone from the Prem comes in, I think FSG, if they are genuinely interested in them, then they're going to move on him no matter the price. But yeah, I mean, we've rambled on a bit from the original topic, but that's what the debate room's for. So we love that. But I'll quickly before we end the stream, I'll get everyone's score predictions. Again, make sure you do leave a like on the video though. Subscribe as well to the channel for more content. And again, leave your score predictions in the comments, and we'll pop them up on stream. But Owen, I'll go to you first. What are your score predictions for the Carabao Cup Final?
I think it's going to go right down to the wire. I think it's going to go extra time. I think it's going to go to penalties. I can see it being a long one. I think we'll edge it on penalties, though. I do think we'll win it on penalties. I really just don't want to lose on penalties. It's going to be the worst way to lose. But fingers crossed we can do it.
Dan?
I said it yesterday in the stream with you guys. I think I agree with Owen. This is one of those games. Tuchel, that almost fully fit Chelsea side, is going to go to extra time, and we're going to have to finish it on penalties. It's going to be a nerve-wracking one, but I do think, and I really hope that Kelleher has his penalty gloves on, and hopefully we win it on penalties as well.
Matty?
Right. I'm not going to go with a mad prediction, but before the Norwich game, I said Liverpool would win 5 or 6-0, and everyone laughed at me. And we ended up going and doing it. So, but I'm not going to go that mad. I do think that based on the history of the Chelsea games this season, it's got penalties written all over it. However, it's a cup final. You can't just draw the game. I know you can, it'll go to pens hypothetically and all that, but Tuchel's going to want to win that in 90 minutes. They went to extra time in the Club World Cup. They've had a tough game against Lille, and then they've got another few tough games, Chelsea. So he's not going to want extra time and pens. Klopp's not going to want extra time and pens. Both going to attack each other. I think it's going to be 3-1 Liverpool, especially if they play Kepa in goal. We could end up scoring 4 or 5. He's terrible, but I'm going to go 3-1 to be honest. But I think Queeve will probably have a man of the match performance. So many people have doubted him this week, and I've never seen so many people doubt him this much before, because when he usually starts in the Carabao Cup, you expect it. But because it's a final, everyone wants to see Alisson. But Queeve got us there, and he had some big nights against Arsenal and Leicester, and I think he's got another big evening in Wembley ahead of him, and I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic for Anfield South to be back.
I'm going to go 1-1 in regular time, and then I think Liverpool are going to put 2 past them in extra time. So I'll join your prediction, Matty, 3-1. I do think we'll win. I'm pretty confident we'll win, and honestly, I think just the way their attacks performing is a bit shambolic.
It's a tough one, and I know we'll talk another day about this. But Alisson Becker, man, he was a little nervy against Leeds. His foot game is just going a little a little strange lately. He's given me a lot of nerves every time he's with the ball at his feet, and I don't know what's going on. And the only positive thing I think from Sunday's game is that Kelleher takes no gambles. He'll just shoot the ball out. He's not going to play around and dribble, and that's the only thing that just is going to keep me relaxed.
I love Alisson's little mini heart attacks in the game.
Yeah, they never really cost us. When was the last one? That Leicester one, you know.
So
So
it gives some like life to get to boring games as well. Because we walked over Leeds yesterday. Like the atmosphere was dead because we just battered them. We didn't even want to rub it in. So
the Leeds fans sounded good.
oh no, they've got 3 chance, proper championship team then, you know.
Yeah. But anyone want to finish on anything before we sign off?
Yeah, before we sign off, and now I'm going to join Maddie's prediction only if this happens. If Sunday we see Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, and Salah, it's over. I think 4-0 win comfortably or something like that. Unless they don't start, then okay, maybe penalties. But if those 3 are on the pitch, man, get ready, man, because it's going to go crazy.
Yeah. Well, Dan, Owen, Matty, thank you for joining us. Again, make sure you go and check out everyone's socials. They are on screen. We got a video out by Chedu. It was a Hunger Games video, very entertaining, a bit different from our usual content. So make sure you go and check that out. Also, again, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be having a lot more Carabao Cup content. Interview with Simon Johnson from The Athletic, and a very special preview from Jack and Tar tomorrow. I shall be up in the morning. So yeah, so appreciate everybody who joined, and